Welcome, everyone, to the Nexus Radio Podcast. I'm your host, DJ Sid. Can you believe that it's episode number 3 already? My goodness, it was only, a month or two when I first decided that I wanted to even take up this endeavor. Now 3 episodes in, it's getting kind of crazy. Having a good time with it, very excited. Got a couple things I wanted to share. Pretty much what I want to do with the podcast, and this is from trial and error. I want to kind of break the podcast up into sections, just to keep it a little bit more organized for the listeners, for you guys, and a little bit more organized for myself, just so I get my thoughts in order. So as it stands, I think I've decided to go this route. I've kind of have a couple of pieces of papers in front of me with my notes here. Again, impromptu, no scripts. So I'm going to have an intro. Every podcast has to have a good intro with some decent music at the beginning. And then I'm going to have a news section. Basically news about the podcast, any changes, any guest speakers, things like that. The next section will be eqnexus.com. Basically, I want to get a lot of the discussions that are taking place on the website and just, give my feedback on a couple of threads that I think are key threads to check out, give some shout outs to people, and then give my own opinion, my personal opinion and a non-biased opinion on the discussions at hand. I'll be hand-picking some discussions and just talking about them, I think. Since there's very little I can talk about, EQ Next right now, gotta find something to talk about and keep these episodes rolling. So that's going to be the second section, the third section. Well, it all depends. If you consider the intro of the first section, then eqnexus.com will be the third. But I kind of consider the podcast news the first section, eqnexus.com the second section. Really excited about the third section. I'm going to call it the Collaborations Corner, for guest speakers and hopefully introducing a fellow podcaster. His name is Tanlin. He's actually a member of eqnexus.com as well. He's really excited about EverQuest Next. He wants to get on the podcast, and for what it's worth, this is a community podcast. I'm doing this for everyone else. I just want, people to hop on and, we'll have guest speakers, do some live podcasting, really make this interactive for everybody, So he's going to be coming on. His name is Tanlin. And again, talking to him on Skype, he wants to have a little part of the podcast called Tanlin's Take. So, watch out for that. He may even be on this podcast here. I'm recording this a little bit in advance just to get a little bit out of the way. Personal life's kind of interfering with a lot of the time that I have. So what little bit of time I do have, I'll be recording, and hopefully we can get him in and some guest speakers from the forums. That's pretty cool. And the last section that I want to add is a rambling section. Just a section with me, just talking about the games that are out today. Maybe talk a little bit about EverQuest Next, current games that I'm playing. Again, all this will be featured in this episode, which is episode number 3. I'll be trying out this new sectioning of the podcast, but got to keep it impromptu style. So if you haven't already come over to eqnexus.com, I must ask, what are you waiting for? Come on over, sign up to the forums, say hi to everybody. Got a really great community. And I just wanted to touch upon that community in this section of the podcast because, there are a lot of really good discussions going on right now. One in particular discussion that I wanted to talk about consists of the raid size in EverQuest Next. I think that's a really good topic of discussion because, quite frankly, raiding is a part of the end game. A lot of people are going to be doing it. It's what people look for in an MMO. That topic's really good. And in my own opinion, I need to kind of keep it neutral. Again, this is a podcast, and I don't want to get into a lot of my own ideology, but I think in this day and age of MMO, it's safe to say that raid encounters should probably scale based on how many players that you bring. And that is, personally, if I wasn't doing the podcast, I would like to see static numbers, but that's really not, you have to kind of mold to the genre. But, it's slippery slope, of course, and that's taken from Vanguard. EverQuest did pave the way. They paved the way. They molded the MMO as to what we know. That's why we're all here. We're looking for that crack sensation that EverQuest brought to us when we killed that first snake, when we massacred that gnoll, and we were finally able to beat Fippy Darkpaw, if you guys remember that. That said, you could leave it to Sony to bring up some new raid mechanics that changes the face of the MMO, because that's what we're all looking for. We're not looking for MMO 1.0. We're not looking for MMO 2.0. We're looking for the next MMO, and it's in the name. It's in the name. So I think raids is a good topic. Go ahead and join in on that conversation. Share your thoughts. That's one of the topics that I read a lot. So I got my own opinion in there at the top. One of the first pages, I think I was a part of when it was first discussed. But I've been reading everybody's opinion. I have really great opinions in there. Really good suggestions on how raid should be handled. Really interesting topic of debate. The next topic of debate is multi-guild memberships. That was a discussion that was brought up in the forums as well. Personally, again, I'm trying to keep my personal opinion to a minimum here. I would not like to see multiple guild memberships, just because I am a one guild kind of guy. All my characters across the account are gonna be with the same guild. There's no guild hopping for me. I'm with this. I pick the guild. I stay with them until the bitter end. You know what I mean? I don't leave until the guild falls apart completely. That said, I understand that a lot of people join raiding guilds, and I was actually hardcore in 3 MMOs. So I know that, the strain of a raiding guild, and to try to get your family into the same guild to share the tag and to share experience and get the bonuses, it's kind of hard, because in a raiding guild, leaders want to see, let's say the level cap is 60 at the time. Leaders want to see everybody at 60. You don't want to do a who all and see a level 54. What's he doing in the guild? You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of the times, you'll see a lot of people try to get their family into the guild, and it's that kind of saturates or desaturates the guild's who all. It brings the player ranking down and whatnot in some certain games. Actually, when I was in EverQuest, our guild was a hardcore raiding guild at the time. And what we did was we had a sister guild for alts and family members. And, if you played an alt, you could tag them up with our baby guild, and you would have all the benefits of the main guild. Basically, we would just send everything down that we didn't need to the baby guild, and that shared vault bank had money. It had spells that we weren't using. When everybody's spell book was completed in EverQuest, that's where everything else was down to the baby guild to feed alts and whatnot. So that was pretty cool. EverQuest also released a what was it called? Here, impromptu style again, no notes. I believe it was called a fellowship, which was pretty awesome. That is where I think the multi-guild memberships will go. If you're kind of like a group, You'll obviously be in a guild, but you'll also have a fellowship. Now, what was a fellowship? A fellowship was kind of like a set group. Everybody, and you could have like 6 or 7 people a part of the group, and they all would share experience. They all would get items and stuff like that. It was pretty cool. I actually never tried a fellowship from EverQuest. That actually was implemented when I had left and went to World of Warcraft. Of course, like I said, guild died. That's when I said, let me try a new game. I went off to World of Warcraft with friends, but that's a whole nother story. Back to EverQuestNexus.com. Another point is, let's go with housing. Should housing be instanced or sandboxed? Another big discussion on the forums. Check it out. Give you my personal thought and the logical sense that that I come up with. Personally, I want to see open world housing. I want to see Star Wars Galaxy's housing. Do you guys remember when that game came out in 2003? The housing was incredible. You could build just about anywhere. The worlds were huge. The planets were huge. In the organization that I was in EverQuest, and the organization that I was in Star Wars Galaxies for about a year, we had a huge city made in Star Wars Galaxies. It was unbelievable. When the game came out, we had apartments, we had housing outside. We literally had our own planet almost. It was pretty insane. I don't know where that housing went or why, but that was amazing in Star Wars Galaxies. I hope that they implement that technology into EverQuest Next because it was pretty cool. Last but not least, server types. Now, this topic isn't really that big. Can't really say that it's going to be all that important. I believe that server types are generally going to be the same across the board for all games. Server types consist of course, player versus environment, aka PvE, player versus player, aka PvP, and lastly, role-playing servers. Now, 9 times out of 10, you'll have all 3, and then you have 2 more. You'll have RP PvP, and then you'll have RP PvE. How Sony goes about doing this, I don't know. It'll probably be the earlier, PvE and PvP, and then they'll just have like a little parenthesis next to the server with RP, where you can expect to find more RPers, as in players that RP on that server. Again, not really much to talk about, but on the forums, there's a heated discussion going on all 4 topics. Come check us out, EverQuestNexus.com. That is EQNexus.com. So here's the part where I just ramble on about nothing. Actually, got a couple good things I wanted to talk about in this section as well. Steam sales. Holy cow. So many good deals right now. A lot of good games that I wish I hadn't bought at full price that are on sale. But I mean, get in on these deals. A couple of standout deals that I've seen. The Witcher 2, $5. Grab that if you don't have it. It's actually the enhanced edition with the better texture packs and stuff like that. Good game. If you don't have a computer that can play it, please build one and install that game really fast. It's very good. Little disclaimer that it does install at like 14 gigabytes. I'm not sure if it's any higher or lower, but it's over 10. I can assure you that it's pretty big. But really good game. I actually have it. Haven't really played it too much. I installed it back in December, I believe. I actually picked it up on an earlier Steam sale, the Christmas sales. I caught it for like $11 or something. I can't really remember, but some ridiculously low price. But it's really low again. If you don't have it, grab it. Today, Picked up Tomb Raider, under $20, good price. A really good game that stood out was Fallout New Vegas. Heard it was really good. I haven't had a chance to pick it up and play it. The Ultimate Edition is $5. I couldn't pass it up. I had $5 sitting in a jar. I'll deposit in quarters. I'm gonna deposit it tomorrow in my bank account so I can cover the cost of the game. But I hear it's a lot of content for your money, a lot of fun. Two really good games. Another good game that I see I'm looking at right now is Borderlands 2 is on sale. I have that, bought it full price. Haven't really played through the story. I think I'm about halfway through before I stopped. It's not really a game you play by yourself. You need a lot of friends, at least one other person to really make the game worthwhile. I have played through Borderlands 1 and all the content that came with it, all the expansions. I would say that's probably one of my favorite games. That game is really, really good. A lot of content, very funny, good dialogue. It's over the top, of course, but it was the first game to introduce its style of gameplay. It's a really good game. Grab one, grab two, grab some friends, good co-op fun. I think that's it. I don't really see anything else that I would recommend. Maybe NBA 2K13, but 14 is right around the corner. Doom 3 on flash sale right now for $5. It's kind of old. That's about it. I'm looking at. I can see Resident Evil from yesterday. Resident Evil 6. Excuse me. I'm gonna do some clicking on my mouse if you guys hear it. I do apologize. I just want to take a look at some more of these games. Let's see. Sanctum 2. I didn't really like Sanctum 1. I'm a huge tower defense person from the old days of World of Warcraft. Of Warcraft 3, where they used to have the tower defenses. Sanctum 2. I hear it's okay. The first one was I hate to say it, but the first one was really bad. I had huge hopes for the first one. But it was almost like never ending. Like there was no point in playing. Like you didn't level up or anything. You just kind of played. I'm not sure if they changed. I picked up the game with a buddy of mine when it first came out, and we played for about a day, and we haven't looked at it since. It's pretty bad. Sanctum 2, I'm not too sure. It's $7. It may be a little much. What else is on here? The Sims 3. I guess if you're a Sims person, $15 though. You might find a better price on Origin from EA. Oh, Portal 2 I'm looking at. $5. That's a good game. Get that if you haven't played it yet. It's really good. Really good co-op too in that game. Same buddy that played Sanctum. We played Portal 2. Excellent game. Armor 2. It doesn't have the expansion. It is $5. It's a military sim. If you haven't played it, I guess, if you're looking for something like shoot 'em upper, I'd probably recommend Fallout or Doom instead. I heard Armor 2 is kind of buggy. Let's see what else. It doesn't look like there's anything else worth mentioning. Torchlight 2 looks like it may be the next game on the community choice deal. Torchlight 2 is really good. Good co-op play, good story. No, not really any bugs. If it looks like it's gonna be $5. Something to look at. If you don't have it, if you're looking for something to kill some time with, grab that. So in the end, looks like we have a couple of games. Tomb Raider, Borderlands 2, The Witcher 2, Torchlight 2, Fallout New Vegas Ultimate, and I think that's it. Those are the only games that I would get. I actually, like I said, I picked up 2 of them. I actually own all the games I just mentioned. Almost forgot Portal 2, and I actually own that as well. So Portal 2, Fallout New Vegas. Let's go with The Witcher 2, Borderlands 2, and Tomb Raider. All really good games. Like I said, I have all of them right now. Getting ready to play Fallout New Vegas probably after I record this I'm going to give it a shot. I think it's almost done downloading. It's about 90% as we speak. And that's about it. In terms of Steam sales, yep. Well, tomorrow's another day. They'll have different deals. I just recommend just keep checking back. Actually, since I'm not the only guy recording for these Steam sales, there's actually another guy. His name is The Cynical Brit. You can search him on YouTube. I think you can search him by Cynical Brit on YouTube. Actually, try searching for him under Total Biscuit. One word, Total and Biscuit. Weird name. Don't ask. Just watch his videos. Really good guy. He's he lives in America now, but he's from the United Kingdom. Awesome guy, awesome reviewer, great voice. He's a good media podcaster as well, so take a listen to him. What else? In terms of gaming, the only other thing that I think is huge is, this is a big one. PlayStation 4 versus the Xbox One. Microsoft kind of leveled the playing field. If you guys haven't known, the big announcement that Microsoft announced about the Xbox One a few months ago was always online, and the lack of support for used and accessing your content, in the cloud. They I don't know, they hit some sore spots when they announced that the console needed to always be online. And Sony, the ridicule coming from them, man, pretty much forced Microsoft into removing just about all the features that they claimed that the Xbox One would have. I mean, I kind of feel bad because in a sense, Microsoft's actually pigeonholing themselves by, saying one thing, being criticized on what they say, and almost being forced to withdraw the technology from their console. And it's I'm not even sure if I want to buy an Xbox One at this point in time, since what they're promising doesn't seem like it's gonna work out too well. I mean, they want to try to I'm not sure if anybody plays World of Warcraft that listens, or any Blizzard game, but if you ever noticed that, or let's say you install Diablo 3 on your computer, of course, you start downloading the game. At a certain point, that game becomes playable. Now, that works great on the computer. Sony and Microsoft are trying to implement that on a console. Not too sure how good that's going to work. I mean, granted, these consoles right now are almost like mini computers. I mean, they have the specs of I would say, an entry-level gaming machine. The PlayStation 4 is going to have graphics equivalent to the 7870 from ATI, and the Xbox One is going to have graphics equivalent to the 7790. If you want equivalent NVIDIA cards, the 7870 is, I think, 66. The GTX 660, I believe, and the 7790 is equivalent to the 650 Ti. I guess those are the competing cards. So entry level. I don't know. I think I might wait on both systems. I need a Blu-ray player. I don't have one. Just picked up a new TV on a sale not too long ago from Dell, and I was hoping to get a PS4 or Xbox One, but looks like I'll be Blu-ray player less for another year with the way these systems are going. Who knows where this is gonna go. But I think that's all in terms of my rambling. Won't bore you guys too much. Anyway, see you next time. Thanks for listening.